So in this video, we're going to be shooting portraits out here in downtown Santa Ana with Bree here.
Hi guys, we're going to be reviewing the Polaroid OneStep Plus.
Salutations and welcome to day one of Polaroid Week, the best unofficial marketing a company could ask for. Before we move on to this review, let me get a few things out of the way. This should be fairly obvious considering I have less than 1K subscribers, but just in case, Polaroid Originals is not sponsoring this video. I ordered this camera day one myself with a 12 pack of film, completely expecting to have a review out within a week. 7 months later, you can see how well that turned out. I've actually procrastinated on putting this video out for a multitude of reasons. It has a lot of issues I've previously criticized day one reviews for, mainly a lack of controlled testing and the user, me, screwing up to the point that any thoughts on the final results would be completely unfair to the product. I'm just mentioning that because there is no hiding it. My first few packs suffered from 80-something degree heat that day, despite being stored in my backpack. I was actually pretty hesitant to pick this camera up again exactly because of how these shots turned out, especially since I had very similar experiences not too long after this video was recorded. But since obviously it's been in past videos, you can tell that didn't last long. I just wanted to let you all know my biases before we get into the review, since this is all my opinion based on my personal experiences. So yeah, we're gonna start day one of Polaroid Week with this review of the Polaroid OneStep Plus. As you may have guessed by the intro, I'll be doing a portrait session with Bree in DTSA. Same location as my last video, though made prior, with Priscilla recording once more. I originally wanted to do some commentary on the camera as I was shooting, but due to a lack of B-roll and the noisy audio, I'll be saving most of that for the review portion at the end. It's also worth mentioning that this was my first time shooting with a new I-type film, which will become obvious after the first 30 seconds. I didn't realize I was messing up the shots until halfway through when they developed. Because of that, I decided to extend the shoot past sunset and into the night where I get a bit more eccentric. So you'll be seeing how well this film performs after hours as well. I'll leave timestamps down below if you want to skip around since there's variations in the shooting. Just wanted to let y'all know since this was an older video and I didn't leave much room for narration. Yeah, I know. This video is well past 10 minutes. How the hell did I not leave room for that? Whatever, you're not my mom. Roll it.
Do this.
Do this. Little lower, further down. So like on the second step right here. You really? Sure. Right, hold on, one moment. Ready? Got it. Thanks, man. Lean back a little bit. Like chill. Yeah, there you go. Testing.
Is it a video?
1, 2, 3, go.
Fuck, okay.
Got it.
Holy shit. Oh my god, I'm so excited with the picture.
I have batteries.
Got it.
Okay, yeah. So the thing about the new film is like it's not instant. It actually takes like 15 minutes, 20 minutes to actually develop.
Okay.
So you have to protect it from the light.
So that's what we're like waiting.
We're waiting on that, yeah. So
Okay.
that's what kind of sucks about this camera. You can't check your lighting until like 20 minutes after. So much for
So
instant.
meanwhile, do you wanna keep going?
Yes, we're gonna do that.
As I was a bit too excited to use manual mode, I neglected most of the other options you see here. Though keep in mind they can all only be used through the app, which can be pretty annoying but is also really neat when you consider it gives you your camera's current settings and some links to a few tips on some more features. Also, while editing this, I realized I should have tried out portrait mode through the app instead of just the switch on top of the camera, but oh well. here we are. I'm gonna focus on manual mode since that's mostly what I used for this review. So starting off, you're gonna have an exposure meter at the top, which Polaroid suggests getting as close to 0 as possible. I'm not exactly sure where, but it seems to meter through the OneStep Plus directly instead of your phone's camera, as some light meters do. The fastest shutter speed on this camera is a blazing fast 1/125th, which makes you realize why flash is so often suggested with these cameras, but it can also go down as low as 30 seconds as well as bulb mode for those longer exposures. And for beginners out there, this means the camera shutter will stay open and continue exposing the film until you hit that button again. F-stops go from f12 all the way down to f64, with the app showing you the focusing range all the while. You also have the option to turn off both flash in the app as well as auto eject for multiple exposures. This feature though, along with the others available through the app, are still incredibly awkward to use, especially when they require you to hold both your camera and phone at the same time. It's expensive to learn on this camera. Alright, let's do this again. Awkward little frame right here. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. It has a noise trigger. I guess that's the alternative to you just, you know, using a self-timer. So for that one, actually, Bree, can you be over here?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Alright, so that's it to learn on. Damn it.
You
I
didn't.
hope you got that.
I am.
Okay, so I turned it off so it doesn't happen again. Double checking. Obviously this is the meter. I don't know how it's reading it from either the camera or the phone, but this sets the sensitivity, and as soon as this microphone reaches that point, it's gonna click. So right now when I was talking to the camera, it was just low enough to go off once on accident and then twice when I said oh shit. So yeah, 2 shots wasted right now, but hey, I learned, so you guys don't do the same mistake, so you're welcome. Priscilla, you're gonna yell picture, okay?
Okay. When? Now? Picture.
Yell again?
Picture.
That's how it works.
Cool.
Next shot, I'm gonna meter for the highlights. That first photo was metering for the shadows. So, and the actual taking lens. Double checking my exposure because it's expensive on this film. And alright, so in about 15 minutes we're gonna find out if everything was in frame. Hopefully Bree doesn't get pissed at me if fucked up.
All the way up.
All the way up.
Oh.
Alright, so
Ooh, we almost crashed.
downtown Santa Ana, you're too close.
Someone is taking pictures up here.
Someone's taking pictures up here, so we gotta chill out.
Has it been 15 minutes?
Oh, has it been 15 minutes for the photos?
Bree's really persistent.
She is. This is, you know, the instant gratification generation. You gotta see it now. You know, Polaroid, you need to step up your development time.
Like, we need it now.
You know, 15 minutes is too long to wait, especially on photo shoots. You know, people took Polaroids to check their lighting, you know, be able to change things real quick, and, you know, we gotta wait for this film to develop. I'm just giving you guys a hard time. And it's awesome that you were able to bring Polaroid out of extinction. I know Fujifilm has that FP100C that's running real low on stock right now, but yeah, it still kind of sucks. You moved the battery from the cartridge to the camera itself, so you'd assume that, you know, we get more shots per box, but as I can tell by this you know, really cool film counter right here, that the whole 8 shots box isn't really going away for a while. That sucks. Are they still shooting? Still shooting.
How can they shoot?
Let's go that way. Let's go that way. We'll take the long way.
Okay. And they're like, oh my god, she did it. I'm like, okay, you guys are ridiculous. She's like, it's so good. Like that?
Yeah.
It was cute.
Alright, first shot is gonna be auto exposed by this camera.
We can put it like that?
Yeah. Sure.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm doing this and filming at the same time.
Try. Deal with it. Stand in front right here. Like, right in this little section right here. Right there. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
There he is.
Oh, I fucking love mine.
Like that?
Alright, so I'm keeping in mind that there's a bit of distance between the viewfinder and the actual lens, so I'm framing it and then moving it a little bit to the left. Okay, here we go. Sorry guys, I'm just gonna drop it on the floor like that, because I'm an asshole.
Drop it like it.
Alright, this one's gonna be manually exposed. We're gonna do the same pose.
Okay.
Because I want to... I had it on noise trigger again. I was scared of talking. Alright, so F16. Alright. I want to make sure I get the shot. This is the first section. No, you keep looking at your hand. Your hand is the most majestic hand you've ever seen.
You made me laugh. Yeah.
Yes.
Yum.
Oh, that's very... What the fuck? That's...
What the fuck is that?
What the fuck? That's not what a model wants to hear when you're looking at her photos.
Right now. Is that okay or no?
Oh yeah, it's fine. Okay, so that's Brie right there. It's a close-up lens. It's pretty fine. I don't know. I'm just looking. I'm looking at the actual body. I don't know if it's the temperature. It looks pretty brown to me.
Yeah.
I like that one.
I like that
cool.
Where do you want to go?
Okay, so I want one more photo right there. I'm gonna stand on top of that over there. Take a photo.
Don't die.
Oh my gosh! Look at this man.
Oh my god, I want to do BTS.
BTS?
I want that. Like, look at that. Just fucking beautiful.
Want what?
I want that. Like, I love these. I
Want me to
want.
stand on you?
No.
Oh my god.
Already got some shots.
This is my like iconic move. Pose. Maybe.
Yeah. The iconic pose. I know most people like color, but we're gonna be switching over to black and white because that's actually what I like, motherfucker. So. I realized I was cussing in front of the kids, so I started whispering. There's a kid that's behind us.
Oh, I didn't even hear you.
I know, because I whispered. They call me Mumbles.
Mumbler.
Black and white version coming up. Do the iconic pose, Brie. Iconic pose. And 3. Let's do one without the flash. This also has a manual flash override right here, so just hold on to that while you're taking the photo. You don't want to blind your model. Illuminati. Photo.
Cool.
Let's do one wide because I really like that pose too.
You be down there. No.
Let's try it.
My boob hurt.
Let's try it, but without your boob hurting.
Okay.
Oh well. It is.
These people don't.
I've never gotten in a fight before, but
you're
I
about
would kind of like to.
Oh my gosh, why? If you got in a fight, do you think you would win?
Oh, probably not.
Okay, it looks really dirty, but don't worry, it's vibe. It's a look. It's aesthetic. Actually, we can have you right here against this wall, so you don't have to worry about sitting down. All right, my dudes. So we reviewed a lot of the photos, and a lot of them looked super overexposed. It might have also been that I might have exposed them a little bit to the sun, but I don't think that was reasonable to have them fucked up that much. But because of the last shots on the black and white, I think what actually happened is I exposed for the shadows in this film. You probably want to treat this like slide film and expose for the highlights. We might extend shooting a little bit just to test it out, because this has to be a review. I want to make sure everything's right for you guys, so you know how to shoot if you're gonna expose me right. I don't want to piss off my mom now, so we're gonna make everything fully auto from here point out. I'm not gonna mumble some more. I'm just gonna shoot on auto, let the camera decide the exposure, and let my model decide the poses, and I'll just push the button. Yeah, let these pre-installed Instagram filters do the editing for me. So, yeah. All right, let's have a look then. Ready? Guessing my iPhone.
It looks like booties.
I'm gonna. Yes, so record the wall. That's exactly what I want you to record.
You know what?
For those of you off camera, she's flipping me off. She's flipping me off camera. For those of you who can't see, which is everyone. Yeah, there you go. That's how you do it. That's the YouTube flip off. All right, Bree, get a little closer to the camera. A little closer. Yeah, attitude. Come on. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you're a tiger. Oh shit! What the fuck? I think that came out okay. Who knows?
You don't get
I don't
excited.
know. Nobody knows.
Assume the worst.
Assume the worst at this point.
Yeah.
I wasted how much room?
Probably $100.
Okay, Bree.
Okay.
We got color, and we got black and white.
You know what she's gonna go with.
You know me. I don't know.
Color, right?
Wait, so can we do like 2 colors and 2 black and white, or that's not how it works?
Oh, this is.
So once you start it, you have to finish it.
I'm thinking about saving this one for the water park. Let's do that. All right.
I mean, I'll follow you.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm gonna buy a shit ton of film for that shoot as soon as I get home.
I mean, film is your interest, right?
It's my YouTube interest.
Yeah.
I think it's easier for me because I like honesty in photography, and I think film is the most honest. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like,
Yeah, it does.
it's very raw. We're gonna end this with the color. So I've been fucking up the color all day. Oh, something wanted to come up. That's disgusting.
What?
Ew!
Yeah, I know, right?
You just vomited.
Gross.
Ew.
Baby vomit.
All right. One clue, light behind you. Keep that in mind, you guys. Especially if, you're like me, you want to expose for the shadows, don't do that, because apparently it doesn't handle overexposure all that well. Yeah, man, fuck that. No, fuck. Turning it on. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Ow, fuck.
So good, Brie. You're doing amazing.
Thank you.
I don't know about this guy.
Yeah, fuck this guy.
I mean, he's
He's been
alright.
wasting film all day.
All day.
All right, Bree, let's have you against this right here.
Yes!
Put your hips.
I did at this.
Okay. You want to see where there's no pigeon poop?
Allegedly. All right, we're switching over to the allegedly portrait mode. I think that's 3 feet. All right, this looks about 3 feet. Who knows? Not me, because yeah, that's me. 1, 2, 3, and portrait.
Love it.
Gorgeous. We got 6 shots left.
Let's make it worse.
Let's make it work.
By the way, you have 4 minutes left on this card.
On this card?
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Here, spot. That looks about.
What?
Surprise photo.
Oh, no. Do you want this or no?
Yeah, let's do it. So Polaroid made this super easy. It's literally a point and shoot. I don't even have to do shit. Literally, watch. Bam. Art.
No, you don't waste your thing like that.
Because it makes
So pissed. Because we now have 5 shots left.
4.
4.
Bree, how pissed are you?
That was really bad.
Yeah, that was.
I would just like to say that I'm the best assistant ever. Goodbye.
Look up. No, make it. All right. You want to say it? Okay, straight up. 3 shots left.
Okay, now I have 2. Let's change location.
Totally wasn't recording that. You know that, right?
I know you didn't record that.
Because he told me last minute.
So this is a dramatization of what happened. Click. Running.
Okay, now I have 1 more.
This means this is the last shot on our color pack. So since it's light out, I'm thinking we're gonna have Bree sit right here. That's gonna have a nice little reflection. So even if it's underexposed in the back, it's just bright enough for it to reflect light back. So let's see how that works. Bree, can you sit right there? You go. Good sport. I'm framing up, don't worry. And once more, special thank you to everyone who made it to the end of this video. I know this was a long one, but as I briefly mentioned before, I hate quick-paced reviews that are really nothing more than glorified first impressions. Nothing against people who do that, because I realize YouTube rewards those who do it first, but fuck that. I actually think this was a bit of karma for me, looking back now. Although I could spin it and say it's not a true test of the camera until you put it in the worst possible conditions. Yeah, let's go with that. Anyways, review. Where do we start? I don't want to be too rough with this camera since I know it's geared more towards beginners, especially at this price point. But since it's marketed with pros in mind, given how much emphasis was placed on manual controls, I don't want to completely ignore every issue I had, including the mistakes that were my fault, because I was trying to take advantage of the camera's features and figured I might as well share where I had issues so you can avoid that as well. Also, bear in mind while watching this review, besides 1 pack of Impossible Project film I used before, this was my first experience with instant film. And despite how harsh I may come off in this review, I'm still gonna recommend picking up this camera because it's a lot of fun. I just wanted to mention that because I think all reviews should have a bit of transparency, and at the end of the day, this is all my opinion, so take it for what it is. Let's start off with the good. No matter your skill level, everyone loves the person who brings along a Polaroid camera. I brought this along to a few photo meets, and no matter who was around, the model's attention was always mine since they wanted that Polaroid shot as much as I did. The on-camera flash is a real lifesaver for those indoor photos, though you want to make sure your subject is close to a wall or some other subject since the background will go black pretty easily. I've yet to use this in any party settings, but I can easily see this producing some great results to look back on. Honestly, after this shoot, I think my best results have all been when I let the camera decide everything for me. Though keep in mind, if you're gonna be using it in darker interiors and there's a window or light behind your subject, your photo is gonna be grossly underexposed. But that window will look nice. And now smoothly transitioning over to manual controls, we're gonna get a bit more critical. This is gonna overlap with film a bit because how could it not? And while I'm sure there's gonna be comments down below correcting me on this, but considering how expensive this film is and how little information I've seen on metering, besides make sure it reads 0, I'm having an incredibly tough time figuring out how to meter for this film with my Sekonic light meter. If this was regular film, I would try something of a test roll to see where the latitude was in various settings and eventually learn with time what works best. That's obviously not a cheap thing to do with this film considering each shot cost you roughly $2. Polaroid Originals film, apart from being told it's 640 ISO and some general tips like keep the sun behind you, is pretty much a guessing game. which is fine if you get a cool result, but not when your image comes back entirely black or wildly blown out. Ultimately, my biggest pet peeve isn't with the film itself, but the lack of information. We'll go into film a bit more later since I obviously have a thing or two to say about it, but bringing this back to strictly manual controls, I do want to give it another shot, though after last night's trip to Santa Monica, I may just stick to the camera's metering for the time being. It is a great feature, albeit super awkward considering you have to trigger the camera through the app to use any of the Bluetooth enabled features. And you do have to trigger it through your phone for any of it to work, so it ends up being incredibly awkward holding your camera in one hand and the phone in the other, hoping all the while you don't accidentally change your settings and actually hit that button. Analog Things made a mention of this, saying it could be a lot easier if you could just trigger it through the volume controls, which I completely agree with. Just something that isn't a flat surface. And honestly, on the subject of Bluetooth features, besides the manual control and the occasional self-timer modes, I haven't really used much of the camera's other features. Noise trigger seems like a gimmick, though I can see situations where it would be useful, like if I wanted to take shots of lightning, but then it sucks because I can't combine it with other features like manual control. Self-timer and manual control would be awesome for selfies too, actually. But yeah, you have to use one or the other. I don't know if that's changed, but I haven't really used many of the Bluetooth features in general, partially because of how expensive the film is, but mostly because of how awkward it is at times to set up those creative shoots. Not saying it can't be done and it wouldn't be worth it, it's just incredibly awkward considering, and here we go back to it, the long developing times of the film. All right, you know what? Screw it. Screw it. Let's just get into this now. It is incredibly hard experimenting with this camera considering how long you have to wait for a shot to even develop before you know if you got the shot or even need to make any correction. Even if money wasn't an issue and you could just afford to shoot Polaroid as though you owned the company, you still have to wait anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes before you can actually see what you get. So good luck to you if you're out shooting with a model and you mess up your composition, which is incredibly easy to do considering that distance, or someone blinked, because you can't waste any amount of time when you're out experimenting without killing the flow of a shoot. I know the film is a bit cheaper than before, but as I mentioned in the video, it is still expensive. And with the battery moved from the cartridge to the camera, you'd think we'd go back to 10 shots, but no, we're still stuck with the 8. Oh, and sometimes the film gets jammed, with no fix beyond manually removing the stuck film and occasionally wasting a pack. It's only happened to me twice out of 30 packs I've shot, as well as a few others, so I figured I'd mention it here. Sorry for that mini rant, but it was fresh in my mind having edited this and shot with it again last night, having the same little issues. But beyond that, as usual, make sure your film is protected against heat and cold. The cold will make it a bit blue and underexposed, whereas the heat will make it brown reddish, as you can see from the earlier shots. Anyways, that is my review. I know it was a bit harsh towards the end, but I said I would give my opinion, and if nothing else, you can at least count on me to be honest. I do still recommend picking up this camera and a few packs to try out yourself, though maybe stay off manual controls for those first few shots. Also, don't be afraid to experiment. Just make sure you have a marker on hand to write down your settings on the Polaroid itself. And if you have the time, wait to see how you did before taking a second shot. Other than that, welcome to my first video for Polaroid Week. Hopefully I have the rest out in time, and since I feel I earned the plug at this point, considering it's my video, please consider picking up a print from my website. I have a few on these, I shot on this Polaroid camera. I would very much like to start justifying making these videos and talking to myself alone in a room. So that would be appreciated. Until the next one, keep chasing that light. Oh, also super quick, I forgot to mention it. This is plastic. This is all entirely plastic. Not a bad thing, not at all a bad thing, but this part right here is especially annoying because it's easy to strip. So make note of that if you use a tripod. Oh, also, this difference doesn't seem like a lot, but it is when you're using this right here. So when I take a portrait close up of a person, it switches over to a lens, but this focal length doesn't change. So the difference becomes that much more obvious and it's that much more annoying to use. So Yeah, I try not to use that when I can because it's just extra frustrating. Yeah, chase that light.